What's going on? Okay, Letty,
Is it
you can
action
start now.
time?
You can start.
Is it action time, Ollie? You're going to get back to us again, aren't you? I know. Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thanks for joining me today. As you can see, we have the director back in his rightful position. I've got half a cup of coffee, so what could possibly go wrong? It's not particularly a crafting video today. I just wanted to go over the Stamparatus bag. I've noticed that it's being called Stamparatus. It's one of those tomato, potato issues, isn't it? I'm not, if I'm honest, absolutely sure which way you're supposed to be saying it, but we'll stick with Stamparatus for now. It's basically a stamp placement tool, so that's a lot easier actually to say, isn't it? Anyway, I mentioned in my last video with the new baby card and demonstrated how it worked, but I did mention that as at last Tuesday, there is now available the carry bag to put the tool in, and it's available at £27, and it's an ongoing product. It's been added to the Stamparatus range, so there's no end limit time for you to get your hands on one of these. But I just wanted to, if you missed the last video, just show you the bag. So I have been very good and I've kept it nice and clean and unused. I said that in the last video, but then I thought I would do this one, so I have kept it nice over the weekend. So it's a really nice canvas bag. I'm loving the colours, I have to say. Blue is one of my favourite colours, and it's got a double zip down the side. You've got a carry strap if you're a shoulder person. Obviously you've got nice carry handles, nice sturdy strong handles there. Nice silky feel to this, and you've got one pocket there, another pocket there, and then there's another pocket over here, and this is actually padded, so this is an ideal place to put your spare plates, for example, and then that velcros over to keep things secure in there. So you've got a nice depth in there, so your Stamparatus tool will fit in there very comfortably, and there's also a nice posh Stampin' Up logo on the front there, but there's also a handy pocket which fastens on the front. Again, nice depth to that. So I was thinking, if you're going to take this out with you, perhaps your phone or your purse, car keys, whatever would fit in there, and you can at least secure them. So when the tool arrives, it will come in a cardboard box like this, and that is £46. And for that you get instructions on how to get the best use out of your new tool. You get 2 plates, you get the base obviously of the tool. On the base you've got the 2 magnets which are kept carefully apart. Now if you watched my new baby card video, you'll know that I spent the first half of it telling you how important it was to keep the magnets apart because they're very strong, they stick together, etc, etc. Of course, being me, halfway through the video they sort of merged together and we had one solid mass. I have to say my husband managed to prise them apart, so these are still the originals, so that's 4 times I've got away with it. But I seriously reiterate, I wouldn't recommend that because I've heard so many times how they do break. So you get those, you get a nice little pad at the bottom with measurements on, so you've got inches, centimetres. and this is wipeable. You get a sponge mat, so you would need this if you're using photopolymer stamps. If you're using clear mount stamps, you don't need that, you just work straight onto this. And an added accessory which was released earlier in the year is the little pad of grid paper, which I have said again and again, whilst it fits perfectly as you would expect it to, it's also really handy if you've just got a really small crafting project and you just want a tiny bit of grid paper. So that's basically the tool. So if I was putting it in the bag, I would put it in like so. Put my instructions in there, and then I'd put my spare plate. That's the word I'm looking for. See, the coffee's not helping, is it? That would be in there, and that would just zip up very comfortably. Depends on the mood I'm in. I do use a shoulder strap, but I think with this I'm actually more comfortable with the length of those, so I'll probably put that safely away in a drawer. So that is that. Also, as additional accessories, you can buy an additional foam mat if you want to. There is the grid paper, and there's an additional set of 2 plates. Probably the most important accessory is to get yourself an extra set of magnets, and we all know why that is. On the previous video I said, whilst this is really good for my Stamparatus, I could see this being really helpful or useful if I'm going to go away and I want to take a little bit of crafting with me. So I just wanted to show you what I do with that. Now, to save blocks, well, you could obviously put blocks in here, but to save that I would take my Stamparatus, and then I would take my grid paper. Let's pop that in there. Now, you might not want to take all of that, you could just take a few sheets if you're looking to add a few more bits and pieces in here. I'd need some cards to work from, so these are a set of the Whisper White Memories and More cards and envelopes, so they'll fit in there quite nicely. Bone folder could be useful. Of course I need some glue, so I'll put my snail in there. Scissors. These are the Stamping Up scissors, and these are good because you've got this little protective plastic thing that goes over the blades of the scissors, so you're not going to make a hole in your carry case. Let's pop those in there. Stamping dimensionals. Need some embellishments to brighten anything up. I need a stamp set. Let's pop that in there. Go that way around with that. Now, obviously, I'm thinking in advance I want to do some crafting, so I've just got myself a little bit of a few bits of extra coloured card. This is designer series paper, which I have to admit is out of date, but I'm just using this as an example. So I've got myself a little bit of paper. So let's pop that in that one. Line that up together. And I quite like a punch as well, so let's pop that one in. That's the Detailed Trio punch, which will fit in down the side. Now, I'm not straining the zip. I've literally got everything in there that I need to do a bit of craft work while I'm away. You'll notice I've not put the ink pads in there for obvious reasons, because they could leak and then your bag's ruined. So I've got everything I need apart from a couple of ink pads, so I would just put those in a plastic bag and keep them separate. So another good use for this little bag. And the other reason that I wanted to revisit this was because if you like this bag, then you might like this other bag that's coming out in Celebration. This is as it comes, and it's a craft and carry tote bag. As you can see, there are some handy pockets inside. Once again, you've got the option of strap or your carry handles. You've got 2 pockets there on the front and 2 pockets over that side. You've got this really pretty little fob that's been added and the matching Stamping Up logo there. There's a nice zip pocket in there. So we did these. We've got 4 in here, if I didn't say that already. It's a bit like an adventure for me as well, because I have kept this in the bag so it stayed nice and clean. And there's another compartment there at the back. Also some what I do with these. So these will fit into, you've got the Velcro if you notice inside. We've got more Velcro that fits at the other end. That will effectively make some more pockets for you to use to put in various bits of card and paper. So, how do you get one of these? Well, the only way you can get one of these bags is if you are currently a demonstrator. We were able to pre-order them, and I have to say that we were on a special limit of them, so there was only so many that we could order prior to, it was 1 each, I have to say, but there was only so many available to demonstrators, and I do know that in the South Pacific it's already run out. But the point of this bag was the fact that it's going to be available to anybody who signs up to become a demonstrator during Celebration, which runs from the 3rd of January through to the 31st of March next year. Now, if you're not familiar with Celebration, it's a period of time at the beginning of each year that Stamping Up has, and there's always some really good offers, shall we say. I think last year there was, in addition to the payment of what you pay to become a demonstrator, there was also 2 free stamp sets. I have to say it's even better this year. I can just run you through what that is. Now, normally to sign up, your starter pack is normally £99, for which you get £130 worth of your chosen products. During Celebration, there are going to be 2 options this year. So for £99 under option 1, you don't get to choose £130, you actually get to choose £170 worth of products of your choice from either the annual catalogue or the spring summer catalogue, which will be launched on the 3rd of January. In addition, there's a second option this time, and for £125 you get to choose £170 worth of product, and you also get this bag. So effectively you're paying £26 for this bag when its actual worth is £47, and I can confirm that because that's what we as demonstrators have had to pay to get our hands on one of these. And during this build up to Celebration, that's the only time that we can actually get them. So from the 3rd of January, only people who sign up to become a demonstrator are going to be able to get one of these lovely bags. So I just wanted to highlight that. I will be talking about that more and more as celebration nears, and obviously during celebration. But it really is a good deal, real opportunity to get hold of this lovely bag, as well as some brilliant products. I mean, £170 in a Stampin' Up catalogue does go a long way. So I wanted to tell you about that. Let me put that somewhere safe. So just a couple of things. Year-end sale is, or year-end closeout is now on. So if you haven't had an opportunity to have a look at that, do go and have a look at my website. I'll put a link on at the end of the video. There are a number of items on there that are discounted. So go and have a look. There's also, I would have to say, it's the last chance to get anything that you may have wanted from the autumn winter catalogue. Some of it will carry over, but a lot of it won't. So again, have a look at the discontinued list, and if there's something there, then do get it sooner rather than later. Now, I have just been talking about obviously the Stamparatus, and I'm sure the majority of you are familiar with the idea of a stamp placement tool. Just in case, and because it seems wrong to have a video and not have any crafting on it whatsoever, I just wanted to just run through again what the Stamparatus can be used to achieve, and why you would perhaps really want to get one. Now, I did mention at the last video that in fact there won't be from the new catalogue any wood mounted stamps. They're going to be there's a name and I've forgotten it, and I've forgotten the bit of paper, but basically they're very much like clear mount, but they're going to stick a lot better onto either your blocks or onto the Stamparatus. Again, if you've watched me use clear mount blocks before, you'll know that I tend to use lip salve just to make that secure. So it's a good time to think about a Stamparatus, because if you've been a wooden block crafter, you're not going to be able to get those, certainly from the new catalogue. The ones in the current one will still be available, but basically they're being phased out. So it's a thought that any new stamp sets, you're going to have to invest in some blocks for them. The Stamparatus does the same job for you, so that might be a consideration. I just wanted to show you very quickly some of the things you can do with it. So I'm going to put my piece of card here, and I do need, put my grid paper over there. I do need the mat this time because the stamp set I'm using is a photopolymer one. I'm using this beautiful bouquet, which isn't particularly relevant because I'm not making a card or anything. But what we're doing is, let's try it the right way. Brain freeze there. So I want my congratulations there. Let's get the magnets out. Is this a good idea? Ollie's got his back turned to me now. I think he's sort of waiting for the big noise when they all flick together again. Seriously going to try and do it right, Ollie, but I'm not promising. Right, so I've put my stamp where I want it on my card. I'm now using my plate to pick it up. And then I'm going to ink it up. Now I want to move that right the way down the page and do the same right the way down. And all I'm doing then is lifting the plate up and moving it down into the next notch. I think I probably should have moved the magnet first, but there you go. Let's move that one up there. Move that one down there. And I want to move it down again. So you can see I'm getting a line exactly, the sentiment is lined up exactly one after the other. Now in all honesty, I know I couldn't do that if I was just doing that freehand. So you get the idea of that one. It hasn't happened, but quite often I'm sure you find that sometimes the ink doesn't quite go on every single piece of the sentiment. Now if that happens, you would just lay that back down again, and that would be placed in exactly the same position, so you get another opportunity to add the missing ink. Again, that's not something that you can ever do on a freehand basis. I'm trying to keep that one very safe. Let's turn that over. Put that one there. Let's put that one over there. So starting again at the top, moving it down one, but this time I want to get a gradient of colour, so I want it to get darker as it comes down the page, but I want to use the same colour. So I put it down once, I've come back and I've re-inked it, and because it's on the Stamparatus, it will go back on exactly the same place. Again, you've got no chance of doing that if you're just using a Stampin' Blocks. Believe me, I have tried. So you can see the depth of colour there. If I just lift that up, let's get that out of the way. So we can take that one a step further and come down again. Let's get that one up there. Paranoid about these magnets now. So we've now got three different, let's take that one off, put that up there. We've got three gradients there of the same blue. So with the benefit of two plates, let's move that there. I can then put this plate on here because I might want to put another stamp down here. So let's just choose one. Let's have a flower. Placing my stamp where I want it. I only brought one ink pad in with me. Otherwise I'd have done a different colour. Think that one through, did I? But nothing new there. Put that one over there. So that's just an idea of how you can use the tool. I'll also just share with you this last thing. This is a Make a Difference photopolymer stamp set, and as you can see there's lots of alphabets and numbers, but when you look inside, just show this, you can see the alphabet here is quite large, but then you start getting really small letters and even smaller numbers. So it's a great stamp set, but it's quite fiddly to put that on a block, as you can imagine. So if you remember back when I showed you what I made for the on stage swaps, in the inside of the cover I put this on stage November 18, and I did that using this stamp set, and I did that by just setting this all up on my Stamparatus, and then it was there on the plate just ready for me to stamp as I did. I think it was 30 of them in the end. I think this is the 30th one that I kept back, and the other 29 got swapped. So again, it's a really good tool if you're doing a batch of cards and you want them all the same. You've literally got your plate set up, and it's like a production line. So that's all I want to say today. I will put various links on the front of the video as usual. If you've enjoyed the video, do please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. All that will happen is you'll just get a notification that I've uploaded a video, and then you get to choose whether or not you would like to have a look at it. So Celebration will be something that will be being talked about for many weeks to come, but that was just a sneak preview of the fabulous new bag that is available. If you've ever thought about signing up, then and you've got any questions, then do please get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer anything that you might want to know. I will also put a link on the front to take you to the page where you can sign up to join my team. So I think that is it for now. I think the director's fallen asleep, so I think that's it. I will now go and drink my cold cup of coffee, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.